Yo, bro, I'll tell you, man, the first time I fell in love with hip-hop, my uncle, you know, he bought me and Fred the Grand's Tune, and we seen Biz Marquee with the gold chains. And all the women out there, you know, they had, you know, music playing. Big Daddy Kane was out there. I think I was about 8 or 9 years old.
That's where that magic is. That's where the consistency is. It's easy to have a one banger, boom, but to continuously just drum out phenomenal shit, that's trust.
The best way I could put it is that I make great music with anybody that views music as therapy. You understand it? If you view music as therapy, I can work with you. It was just perfect time and everything lined up. Fred happened to be there when you came through. You know how Fred is already. If he hears something fire, he gonna be a part of it, and you know, we just took it from there.
Fred the God, Fife Dog with the punchlines. Rsonist, Nick Cannon on the drum line. Rest in peace, Muhammad. Rest in peace, Muhammad. In loving memory, I blast kid. Ali, you're there if you don't tell me where the cash is. I'm spitting the roast, no different approach. And those that don't get it is gon' get it the most. They ride waves, I wave at them. New York begging me to eat the apple. Let's say
what's good, everybody? What's good? Welcome back to yet another episode of Off the Strength, where we're giving you the inside look into all things wellness culture. I'm a trainer called Tony, and of course with me I have some gentlemen of extraordinary league. Guys, let's go across this couch and introduce ourselves, please.
Your trainer, Corey, a.k.a. your favorite trainer's favorite trainer.
KR Jones is in the building.
That's right, folks. We are back. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of all type from near and far, you are now in store for a treat because we have some hip-hop legends inside the building, fellas. We are bringing on and evoking the spirit of this fit hop that we've been talking about for such a long time. Guys, I am geeked right now to come inside here. And I got to make sure that if we're doing this hip-hop situation, I got to pass the mic off in the cypher style to my brothers. Okay, so I'm looking down the line. I'm going to call out my man Hillz. Yo, Hillz, get on this mic and let people know who you are one time, brother.
Going on, man, it's Hillz, 407, 215, Illadale, Pine Hills. You know what it is, you know what I mean? Let's go.
Now we got to move on over to Russ. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's Russ, brother Fred the Godson, rocking that God Legacy TBM. Heatmakers in the building, bro.
Heatmakers is in the building, so we got to set it up for the last but not least. Come on, big brother, make some noise on here. Ars, what's going on?
Deal, man. It's your boy Rsonist, Heatmakers, platinum producer, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Woo! Slashers.
That boy good, too. That boy good, too.
I mean, come on now.
Etceteras hit heavy right there. That's a strong et cetera.
That's a lot of weight on that.
I was about to say. But you see how he showed up? Come on.
My man's et cetera run off like a laundry list, my man.
You know?
Yeah, so instead of getting into all that, you know, it's et cetera, but it's all love, man. You know, I don't like talking about previous shit like that, but it's on the bigger and better.
He talking about that future self-vision. That's what we was just blessing it on, man. I see where he's going. I'm appreciative of that vision, man. And you know what, fellas? I love this energy automatically starting off. First of all, thank you so much for pulling up. This means a lot to us over on this side because we are students of this hip-hop stuff in addition to being straight-up professionals on this wellness side. So whenever we get to bring these two worlds together, this is going to do my heart a different level of service. So one, just thank you. And I know we got an important story that we like to tell, and we like to start these stories off a little something like this. Now, I'm pretty sure y'all might be familiar with a movie by the name of Brown Sugar. We kick our situation off very similar to how they start off their conversations on that side. So I need to know, where were you when you first fell in love with this thing that we call wellness, right? And for this case, in this scenario, wellness is also going to include that thing that we call hip hop. So I need to kick this off. Who jumping on the mic first? Let me hear that story.
I got you.
Go ahead, Hillz.
Shit. First time I fell in love with wellness and hip hop, I was walking to school and listening to, I think it was Slick Rick's The Show.
Okay.
When I heard The Show, and then after that, Lottie Dottie, and I was stuck.
We like to party. That's what we talking. Don't call
6 minutes, Dougie Fresh.
You're on. Come on now. He's stuck on it. All right, come on. We got to kick that on down. What's going on, Russ? Where was you at?
Yo, bro, I'll tell you, man, the first time I fell in love with hip-hop, my uncle, you know, he bought me and Fred the Grand's Tomb, and we seen Biz Markie with the gold chains. And all the women out there, you know, they had, you know, music playing. Big Daddy Kane was out there. I think I was about 8 or 9 years old. And I seen the love, the energy, and all the talent and the celebrity. And, you know, me and Fred was just like, yo. And that's when we fell in love with it, you know?
I love that, man. The legacy. Ain't no half-stepping on this side. Okay. Come on now, Ars. Let's bring it home, brother. I know you got a lot of different things that you pulling from, my man. But when was that first moment?
Yeah, for me, it's more so. You got to remember, I grew up on reggae music. I'm a Jamaican dude, so I grew up on reggae music. But hip hop for me was like when I started DJing, and I saw the effect that hip hop music had on the crowd.
Yeah,
it's like instantaneously I fell in love with it. You know what I mean? Like what one song could do to thousands of people or hundreds of people was like, it was mind blowing to me, and I never seen anything like it before. So from that moment on, I fell in love with it. So like one of the first parties I ever DJ'd.
I love that, brother. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I understand the Jamaican roots are strong. You know, and arguably my Brooklyn bias is super strong. So I know a brother that used to touch down on Jamaica, come back here and tear up the avenue when he was coming back over. That greatest of all time March 9th kind of situation. So we know where you at with the sound clash, brother. Bombing. I see where you at.
And that's why people don't understand. That's why Biggie rhymed the way that he did, man.
Come on now.
He was used to doing like, or rapping over reggae shit when he was younger. Because that kind of, it crafts you in a way as a musician, you know what I mean? I can't describe it, but any West Indian person knows what I'm talking about. Like I grew up listening to straight Beres Hammond and Garnet Silk and Sizzler and you know what I mean? Everybody, man. I just grew up listening to different melodies from reggae too. It was different, man.
Different step, man. We talking that super cat Dolly my baby kind of situation. Come on now. We in here, brother. Yo, fellas, how y'all feeling on this as we stepping into this legacy real quick?
One of the things I say is a lot of people who aren't like lovers of hip hop and don't understand our big connection between hip hop music and wellness. And you hear things being said like music saved my life. But the reality of it is so many of us, that's where we connected to each other. And I know for me, for a minute, I was away from New York for a hot minute. And New York music kept me going, like kept me connected to home. And people don't realize how much music motivates and affects you and shows you love when you don't necessarily see love somewhere else. That connection to love, that connection to people is where that wellness comes from, because your physical health, your emotional health, all that is tied into how you feel and what's motivating you. And music for us is the thing that connects wellness together. I have never had a good workout in silence.
At all.
Never in my life. And I have never felt connected to music and not had my heart rate elevate, not had my nerves pop up, and you feel that difference. You feel that connection. You feel that energy pop up when the right track comes on, and it feels just like how a good workout feels to me. And those things just tie. They don't work without each other.
Soul stirring situation, brother. You know, I can't
flick up the wrist for that.
You gotta flick the wrist. Come on, man. You
Super
see how
facts.
we going?
I think you know what happens with hip hop is it's an unspoken community. It's that, yo, you understand this, I understand that. Now we can speak that same language. And if I'm talking about my wellness beginning, man, it has to be with Ars, man, the legendary producer. I'm thinking about that Dipset anthem. I'm thinking about the first time I heard that shit. And it was one of those beats where like, yo, we need the instrumental. We got rhyme over that. And now I'm rhyming with my homies like, you know, just spitting, trying to catch a Dipset kind of vibe or feel in that sense. And I think that stuff like that, like when you get into the story behind how Ars made that, and it's coming from his culture that he brought here, and that wasn't even a hip hop beat, that was the Jamaican sample that he's talking about. So now, to bring that together, that's where it started for me. Just being around that community, being around people that were like-minded, that understood that we could all vibe on that same energy, that same frequency, you know?
Same type of love on that same cadence.
I think for me, what it was, especially with that record, it was me wanting Jamaican dudes to like the hip hop shit I was making. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I wanted them to understand what it is that I was doing. And I think that record bridged the gap between it. So it made perfect sense at the time for me. You know what I'm saying? It still does. People didn't understand that you can turn Any other form of music can be made into hip hop, but we can't say that about other forms of music. You understand?
Hell yeah.
That's true. That's true.
That's facts.
That is so true.
Go on that, brother. Go ahead. Let's hear it, Russ.
You know, from the reggaeton, look, you know, when I was growing up, we never really heard salsa and Spanish and Latin that much as we do today. And as far as the West Indian and the Jamaican side of Biggie, based on what Rsonist was talking about, I'm glad they showed that in the documentary because that was really important. That was the root of it. You know what I'm saying? And all these genres we do have, like slow jam music, that can be affiliated with hip hop. You have electro music, could be affiliated with hip hop. I'm searching through things on the internet and I see somebody got a house music with Fred voice in it that they put out. Come on, man. It's like only hip hop can do that.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
We are the most duplicated, you know, but they ain't gonna really try to come through and take our real gold that we have without us saying something on it. And if you really looking around, you start paying attention to what's happening on this fitness side, fellas, you know how I feel. When I come inside here, I see people that don't look like they was out here with that anthem banging. They ain't say today's a new day. They ain't come in with the bando looking like I need the high joint like Joel's had. You know what I'm saying? I knew I was coming.
I need an iron impressed.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's why I showed up with that, right? Some people out there might not understand what we're going through, right? So I want to give them back a little bit of pretext and see how this whole relationship came across. And I'd be remiss if we don't rewind back to this monumentous year that last year has been. And I really do want to put this in the front, how we even came together on this side, Hillz. So I want to rewind back and I want to pull back just a little bit. So we've been doing a lot of stuff in this fitness, hip hop stuff for, I'd say, the better part of this 3-year run. Eden just ended our career just now. So I didn't even know.
Cut us off.
I thought we was going to still be able to move it, but you know, he cut us out. But in our 3-year run, we've been talking about this fitness and hip hop. It was too early. We kept coming back to it. And one day we got shout out to brother AL over there. Come across this brother AL. Shout out to him. You know, we got to get up. We'll celebrate that new little one over there.
This princess.
Princess over on that side. So I come across this brother who is a visionary on his own right. And we start talking, and shout out to the brother Flex because he was a part of that conversation too. We start talking about where the music industry is going, where this fitness stuff is going, and it's colliding, and we're seeing all of these big entities and big brands just coming in and snatching up all this stuff. It's like, yo, they don't even rock with us like that. Why are we just trading our stuff away? Why can't we come in here? Why can't we do something different? So I'm sitting there, I'm talking to AL, and we're coming around, and somehow, some way, I find myself sitting in a diner, and I'm sitting across from this brother, and I get to meet Hillz, and I'm talking about, if I would have known then that was the day before the world would literally come to a screeching halt, like everything shut down. Right in that instance. Like, we went from celebrating to, oh man, everything has just turned. But in that same span of time, I got a chance to learn this brother, and I got a chance to understand that this man is a soulful dude. This man is an earnest person, and he was working with a mission that was higher than even what he said was at that point in time. And Hillz, I want to let the good listeners know where you was coming from and give a little bit of that background and that flavor, brother. So stretch this story out a little bit for me. Let me understand where you're coming in, and this is how we could bring everybody together on that whole lineage that we're talking about going forward.
The beauty of this is, all right, well, first to back up real quick, I was supposed to go to Philly before I went to New York. And because of AL, things we were talking about, he was like, yo, there's a situation, da-da-da-da. So I was like, you know what? Instead of me going to Philly first, I'm going to go to New York first. So I don't know, maybe a month max. Me and Oz have been talking on social media periodically, and I literally hit him on the tarmac when I was about to take off and was like, yo, I'm be in the city. And when I landed, I had a message. It was like, all right, pull up at 6. So I was like, all right. Yeah, it was 6. It was at 6. I can't forget certain things. You know what I mean? So it was at 6. So boom, I get to the studio, and as soon as he opens the door, I see Fred.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I know who Fred is. You know what I mean? But I'm always going to say this. And this is part of the reason why I feel like we all go so hard for Fred, is because all of us believe Fred never got the credit he deserved. And I was guilty of just knowing that Fred was a dope MC. I didn't know his catalog or a lot of his accomplishments. I just knew every freestyle video I saw of Fred, I was like, dude's nasty. So the idea was I went there originally to look for one record. And, you know, I told Ars before we started, I said, yo, man, can I play you like 2 records first? Because I'm here for your ear. I'm here for you. And he was like, cool. So while we having that conversation, Fred tapped on the door. He was like, yo, you mind if I sit on your session? I was like, nah, you know, it's not a session, but you're more than welcome. I'm honored. Cool. So the first record I give to Ars to cue up is a record I did for my mother called Angels.
Mommy, I miss you. I know sometimes I still talk to you. You still see me in my dreams.
Dear mama, from your last one, damn, I really miss you. Tell Steph and John I was looking at a picture. Took a stroll through her memories, prelude to my felonies. Wish I could start over listening to what you was telling me. Xanax resembles balance, being drowned within the chalice. Become so jaded, my thoughts have become callous. Regretful of past exes, draped in designer fabric. Survive car crash, lost name becomes Texas. God, I was so foolish, mama already knew this. Highly intelligent, mixed with a side of stupid nightmares. A cancer doom, depressed, who am I fooling? Lights ran its course and left me a stack of ruins. Lost without your guidance, please visit me when you find us. Tell Ray to swing through, we can kick it like old times. Rather die due to living and chase my own vision. Chose faith over religion and woke with a new mission.
Angels in heaven, sign my name. The angels in heaven, sign my name.
Pulls the record up and plays it. First, after like 15, 20 seconds, Ars stop and be like, who made this? So I'm just saying this. Ars didn't say it, but I know normally when a producer says that, they're impressed with where it's going. So I'm like, all right. So he plays it.
It was dope.
Yeah, but Fred come back, he quotes back like the first few bars of the Angels record. He's like, is that real or you just wrote that as a story? I'm like, Nick, that's my life. Like my family, they out of here. You know, I don't have any family. I got kids. And Fred was like, oh shit, you fucked my head up with that. You know what I mean? So from there, Fred was like, yo, we can do a record. You know, this is what I normally charge people, but I don't care what number you throw at me. We doing a record. Threw a number at him. He said, yeah. I started thumbing through stuff and throwing this shit out there. And I believe the record we ended up picking for We Don't Believe You for the single, I believe that was like one of the first 3 records Ars played.
I think it was the first record I played.
It might have been.
Promise before it's over, I'ma get what we came for. Respect to the Range Rover, stack a couple of pesos. Said you move the key, but we don't believe you. Who's the middleman? Stop lying to people. Oversized see-through, be real, that's not you. Keep it 100, nah, we don't believe you. Said you move the key, but we don't believe you. Who's the middleman? Stop lying to people. Oversized see-through, be real, that's not you. Keep it 100. Nah, we don't believe you.
I rock over hard bass. You talking about the ghetto, between a rock and a hard place. Trap house, we cook rock in a hard place. Back out with Desperados guitar case.
I know there was others that we came back to, but when it was that, Fred looked at me and there was that look like, nah, that's the one. That's the one. Me and Russ have done some other interviews together, but I guess because of the circumstances, I'd never had to say this before, but Ars, I appreciate you because without you, I wouldn't have gained a few brothers.
It was just perfect time and everything lined up. Fred happened to be there when you came through. You know how Fred is already. If he hears something fire, he gonna be a part of it. And you know, we just took it from there. And you know, Fred is the type of dude that he's so welcoming that if you around him once, you want to be around him again. So a lot of people find themselves being around Fred 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 15 or 20 times because it's that infectious energy, you know what I'm saying? So I love, man, and Fred did that, you know what I mean? I can't take credit for that. Even though you came through to see me, Fred did that.
It would have been a one-off situation under a lot of different circumstances, and just off of personal energies, we probably would have still rocked out with one record. And I tell people, and I've told other people this, it's funny because the record for my mother, I said my mom's still helping me today because it was the content of that record that
sparked the conversation.
That sparked that conversation. You know what I mean? Like without that record, we probably doing one record. You know what I mean? But because of that record, and Fred said this, he's like, you might save somebody's life with this record, bro. Like people don't talk about that kind of pain like that. That's just different. And so that's what really sparked everything. And I think, you know, it is perfect timing. It is divine intervention. When me and Russ talk, I'm like, you know, Fred up there doing comedy hour with my brother and my mother's up there, got him laughing. You know what I mean?
Man.
Fred is infectious. You know what I mean? Like, to know Fred is to love Fred, period.
the crazy thing about all this right here, what people got to remember, you know, Fred could have said, you know, yeah, that's a fire joint, but he's still a fan. Regardless of how many times he was around Rsonist or anybody, that infectious energy come from the love of the game for hip hop and the love for the culture, because even though Fred hears fire is in the studio with Rsonist day to day and spending more time with him, you know, than anybody, he's still a fan. There was a couple times and I'll be like, you know, I'll be on the gram and I see, yo, Ars got some fire cooking. And I text Fred, I say, yo, you heard this joint? And he'll be excited like a fan, even though he was with him probably the last hour. You know what I'm saying? The love of the, you know, whole culture and the love of that energy is welcome, like Rsonist said, because Fred always was a fan. No matter how good he thought he was always a fan.
Gentlemen, y'all are speaking on divine alignment, and that's when things arrange the way that they're supposed to. Everything that y'all said, and going back and listening to Fred's last album, listening to Ascension, I put this on everything. That's the closest I've heard to Nipsey Hussle Victory Lap. You know, when you listen to Victory Lap after Nip passed, it just hit different because you know that you're never going to be able to see him in the physical anymore, but his music is going to live forever. So when I played Fred's Ascension, I'm just thinking even the name Ascension, like he up there. He been up there, and y'all talk about him not getting the respect that he deserves, but he got it. It's here.
I know Fred did Ascension and that just came out, but Fred's official last project that we were making before he passed should be out April 23rd. You know what I mean? That's Fred's real last body of work. I'm not saying it's going to be the last project that comes out, but that was the last project he was working on officially. So the music sounds incredible, man. Like incredible. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
not to take anything away from Ascension, but I just want people to know that what's about to come out is what he was really working on. You know what I mean? It's going to be mixed and mastered songs, official records that Fred would have loved to hear himself. You know what I'm saying? So I want people to pay attention to that, because I know Ascension came out. Big shout to Ascension, but to really understand what Fred was working on, you got to hear Contraband 3.
When I knew that you was moving forward with Contraband 3, honestly, what popped in my head is I always liked Jim, but when I heard El Capo, I became a fan. Like a fan.
That album was
Jim
nuts.
just had joints that I thought was fire.
Man.
The sounds were nuts.
What you did with El Capo, with how it seamlessly
flows,
cohesive.
Yep.
It is like Illmatic and Reasonable Doubt and Blueprint to me. I'm not saying that Jim is Jay, but what you did with that, I was like, this nigga's gonna make an El Capo, and he has even a bigger fire under his ass right now, because this is his brother's legacy sitting on the line, and there's everything else after that is kind of like it's compilation. You know what I mean? Like me and Fred worked on our project, but that's something that you got, and I know how much I loved El Capo. Like you turned me from I really like Jim to I argue with people about how nice Jim really is. Like nigga, you got me like a kid in a candy shop, like or a kid on Christmas waiting on the new PS5 to drop. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting like, I know Ars got this shit crazy.
It's gonna be incredible, man. Only thing that I'm just waiting on the last couple features, you know what I mean? And other than that, right now we have 38 Specials on there, OT the Real is on there, Mark Scabilia is on there, Jim Jones is on there. I'm waiting on a Fat Joe verse. Fat Joe's gonna be on there. And the last person would probably be Saha. I'm just waiting on the Saha verse. So once I get those last two verses, I've mixed a few of the records already. It's just a matter of probably like mixing the rest and mastering, and then we off to the races. We already got like a mini video shot to one of the records already. The one that I sent you, Russ, the one with Mark on the hook.
Broken Wings, man. That joint.
We gonna lead off with that probably to help promote the project, and then just go full fledged. We got fire on there, 1,000,000%.
I think this is going to be Fred's best project and best body of work. Officially, I'm telling y'all, man. The music that I heard that was played in the studio, man. Shout out to Saw Studios and what Rsonist showed me. I mean, it's incredible. It's amazing. With Ascension leading up to this, y'all going to see that Fred will be solidified as one of the greats and one of the best, like he always used to say. This is just fuel in the tank to blast off this Contraband 3, man, because I think he's always wanted to go to another level. He's always tried to bust his brain and take it to another level. And I think the production and the producers that work with him, when they enhance something, it brings a different type of delivery.
Let me say this one time, Russ. what people got to understand when this come out too is that every song that you fall in love with, every line that you fall in love with was written over a year and change ago. You understand? And it's still going to be potent. So people got to understand how dope Fred was, that he could write something over 14 months ago and y'all would think he wrote it yesterday. Trust me when you hear this shit.
There's people that listening to Fred's freestyles now that still hit me and be like, Fred just cared about the culture and being aspiring and attempting to be the greatest. When you put dope shit together, it don't have an expiration date. You hear certain records and it inspires a different thought. But there's magic when you have an alike in a producer that also has that same type of thing. There's a lot of producers that Fred worked with that he did phenomenal shit with. But the shit that he does with Rs, like Fred and Rs got that same magic that Joel or Jim and Rs got. Rs got a way of bringing out the greatest in a person, and with his ability to do that, it's the Just Blaze, it's the Dre, it's the Premiers. Certain producers, you know, when another dude is on that record, he's gonna give you the best. Fred, as effortless as it came, he had a beautiful sonic relationship with Rs besides personal. They just make magic.
You know, one thing that keeps coming across, one thing that is consistent is one of the biggest mistakes and misconceptions that people have about hip hop. Everything that keeps being said is love. Everything that keeps being said about the quality of music, about the way things came together, was all based on love. It's all based on a relationship and meeting somebody, connecting with them, that coming together and that feeding the artistry, feeding the creativity, feeding the music, and making you really feel it. And people outside of hip hop always look at hip hop as not being love based. Not being based on like connectivity and love and that kind of energy. And they always look at it as being something else and, you know, about something other than joy and love. But whenever you get into a conversation with the artists who are actually creating the music, it always comes down to love.
When you look at, again, love, right? There's some dope records and probably some historic, iconic records that may have been done by, you know, an email swap. You know what I mean? Like you hear the record and it just sparks and it's the right record. But that's like a great one night stand that turned into a weekend versus when you have a bond with a co-creator. That's a relationship. That's where that magic is. That's where the consistency is. You know, it's easy to have one banger, boom, but to continuously just drum out phenomenal shit, that's trust.
The best way I could put it is that I make great music with anybody that views music as therapy. You understand? If you view music as therapy, I can work with you. If you do music to make money, I can't really fuck with you like that because our goals are different. You know what I mean? Like our ideals are different at that point. Because even though I make money from music, I don't make music to make money, if that makes sense to you.
Hell yeah.
You understand?
Yes,
like, I make music because it's therapy for me. Because like when I'm having a fucked up day and I turn my machine on and I make whatever I make, I feel better. My mind is at ease. I feel calmer. You understand? Like if I'm angry at somebody and I turn my machine on and make music, the anger subsides. So for me, it's therapy, man. If somebody doesn't view it as therapy, then it's hard for me to align with you creatively.
Right.
Remember, this is the conversation we had. I said, look, nowadays when you buy music, right? What do you really buy? What tangible object do you hold in your hand nowadays? Nothing, right?
Right.
So with that being said, you're not paying for music. You're paying for a feeling. You want that feeling repetitively, so you bought it.
Right.
You understand? So if a song doesn't give you any type of feeling, then what is that? What did you buy? You didn't buy anything. All you did is waste your money. You understand? You bought white noise if something doesn't give you a feeling. But when it gives you a feeling, you can justify spending that $9.99 or streaming it 45 times a day or whatever you're doing. You understand? But without that feeling, we're listening to dead air.
R said this gives him therapy. That was Fred's therapy as well. You know, the love and the passion for that. It turns into this snowball frequency between both parties, and then you create amazing records. You don't get Thriller without Barry Gordy and Quincy Jones, Guy, and Mike in the studio.
Come on now,
you know
Russ.
what I'm saying?
For sure, brother, for sure.
And ours definitely make music that triggers certain emotions, period. You know what I mean? Like,
another thing that keeps coming up inside this whole thing, you know, when the emotion is combined with that love, and you dropping names like the Barry Gordys and the Michael Jacksons, you know, I'm hearing legacy all throughout this whole situation as well. And if we're speaking about, you know, resting in power to Fred the Godson, we're speaking about a legacy that I see the torches are being carried going forward. And I can hear the minds that's going to be inspired by the weight of the music that y'all are talking about. It's going to resonate in the way that we needed to get that therapy out.
I look at it like this, man. The further my career goes, the more Fred's name means something.
Uh-huh.
You understand? Like, so I feel an extra burden on my back. Like, okay, I gotta be extra good, because now it's like, even though Fred's name will always live along, I want it to go further than it ever went before. Right. Along with my name. You understand? So when we dead and gone, and our kids could talk about our names and be proud. Like, yo, my father did this, my father did that. My father got a street named after him.
Yes.
My father sold 25 million records. You understand? Like, I want them to be able to talk about us like we was kings when we leave here. That's important to me.
How does that feel, just even stepping into that statement? Like, what comes up for you when you say that?
When I first started making music, I had a sign on my wall that said that a preacher by the name of Noel Jones said. It was a saying where he said, "It's been promised to me."
Mm-hmm.
And what he was saying pretty much was that if you believe something has been promised to you, it's up to you to go claim it. So through my whole life, I've always felt like that. Like, as long as you don't lack belief, you will always win. If you work hard and do not lack belief, you'll always win. You understand? Like, the people that don't win, they give up, and their belief gets thinner and thinner until it fades away. With me, my belief never went anywhere. It gets stronger by the days, to be honest with you. So I just know I'm good.
I want to plug Bobby's saying into what you just said, because that time reveals the victorious.
Okay.
Some of the greatest things died in the graveyard. Meaning, I want to do this. Nah, you can't do that. You should wait. Maybe you should do something different. And what ours is talking about, and like, these was our regular conversations. And that's why I had to thank him, because when you are constantly motivated, it snowballs and becomes easier and easier and easier, because they feeding you. It's a reciprocal energy. You know what I'm saying? It's funny because ours is sociable and not sociable at the same time, but he motivates the fuck out of you at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Ours will say one thing, you be sit there and be like, I'm gonna be quiet for like 10 minutes. This nigga just lit a fire into my ass. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you gotta ask niggas simple questions, man. When I say simple questions, I mean like, and Hillz could tell you this, there'll be a bunch of rappers in the studio, and I might walk up to one of the rappers and be like, yo, you still rapping? And then just spin off.
Yo,
that's so
don't do that,
aggressive, fam.
Yo, you still going? All right, cool.
Because anytime I see somebody just sitting around and they have a bunch of idle time, and you're a rapper or you're a creator, why do you have so much idle time? Shouldn't you be creating? Shouldn't you be like perfecting your craft or doing something? Like, if you're in the studio with me and you sitting on the couch watching me, I'm getting to the money while you sitting on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't look at me, nigga. Like, I'm handling my business. If I'm making a beat and you're not even writing to it, not saying that I'm gonna give it to you, but if you're not even writing to it, what kind of artist are you? Like, I never understood that. You understand? Like, that's like putting me in the studio with Jay-Z and he's rapping a cappella and I got a beat machine in front of me and I don't try to make a beat for him. I would look crazy.
One thing I know Oz could attest to, I probably got a lapse in that studio, because beats would be on and I'd be sitting there in my phone with the notepad up, tapping. He'd be like, nigga, I think you put in about 6 miles today, pacing the studio.
1,000,000%.
Get that fit. All of the laps going inside there, man. We counting that fitness too.
And that's how it should be. I'm telling, like, and Russ will tell you, like, if I'm making a beat, and Hillz will tell you too, if I'm making a beat, Fred is about 2 verses in by the time that beat is done. He's like, yo, you ready?
Bro, absolutely.
I'm like, damn, nigga. You finished already? But like, yeah,
Fred take a nap. Fred take a nap in the middle of the beat getting done. Wake up, write 4 bars, goes back off, and the song is done when he wake up. He be like, nigga, how did you finish writing the record while you was sleeping?
I'm telling you, man, he'll walk around with his body language. He'll get quiet. He'll start shaking his head and moving his hands, and then be like, all right, let's do this shit.
That's what I'm accustomed to. So when other artists get around me and they not like that, I'm almost like, yo, what kind of artist are you, man? Like, this nigga Fred did 4 records already. You sitting here still writing the first verse? Like, what the fuck?
They lack that discipline, man. You got to show up for it.
I've been spoiled, man. I've been spoiled. You know what I mean? I've been around some some dope, like super dope artists that happen to work fast. So I've been spoiled because I work fast.
Hell yeah, man. I respect the hell out of that.
Fred did his verse that first night. I came in the next day. I did my verses. The day after that, we were shooting a video, laid the hook. You were mixing the hook so that we could put it in the video.
That's how it should be.
And me and Fred are in the B room, dropping the freestyle while everybody gets set up.
At the end of the day, look at it like this. There are bigger artists that are working harder, which makes no sense. If you're trying to catch the bigger artists, shouldn't you be working harder than them?
Hell
It makes common sense. It's like I have to outwork somebody like Dr. Dre because he's so far ahead of me. You understand? I got to outwork somebody like a Just Blaze because he got steps on me. So you understand? Like, I never slack when it comes to this type of shit. I'm in the studio between 12 to 18 hours, 5 days a week.
And Rsonist, that's the parallel to the whole athlete continuum, man. Because you can't sit back and be comfortable if you know who Kobe is and you're trying to put up shots. You can't sit back and act like you never seen Bron lace up.
Here's the difference with athletes, though, right? When you get to a certain age, let's say being a baseball player was your dream your whole life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you get to about 30, 35, and you realize your body ain't made for that no more. So you kind of have to give it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
With music, it's not like that.
That's the mind,
Until
buddy.
the day you die, if you're creative, you can always do it. So that's the dilemma with a lot of artists and a lot of producers and things of that nature, because whether they're good or not, they feel like they can always get into the game. That's why the game is so cluttered and tied up with artists and producers, because there's no expiration date for none of these dudes. Some things ain't made for everybody is what I'm trying to say. You understand? Like, I wanted to play baseball my whole life. I'm not a baseball player. I came to that realization when I got to a game and a nigga threw a 92 mile per hour fastball. I was like, I'm not built for this shit. I'm out of here.
You put that's the heat maker right there.
But I'm saying, some people don't understand their limits and they stay in a lane too long that they don't belong in. That's a realization that some people have to come to sometimes. Like, maybe I don't belong in this lane.
What was
that's a nasty truth. You got to tell yourself sometimes.
How do you make sure that you get that kind of reaffirmation from like the people that surround you, or is it like what gives you that grounding?
You got to make sure you keep the right people around you. Because look at it, if you're a rapper, right, and you surround yourself with 5 other friends and they're all rappers, that kind of doesn't fare too well for you because they're really worried about themselves at that point. You understand? If you surround yourselves with like family, friends, and people you grew up with, and they might not rap, they're not even into the entertainment industry, and they're telling you like, yo, you know what? I don't really like that song too much because of X, Y, and Z. And all of them are telling you the same thing. You got to listen to them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that to quit. What I'm saying is maybe make some adjustments, find out why they don't like it, you know, but a lot of people, they stick to their guns so much that now it's 15 years later and they still doing the same shit, not listening to nobody. But they staying in the same lane.
I think the separation between that is the intentionality factor, right? Like, am I intentionally out here putting in this work to be the best producer that I can be, to put the best art out that I have? Like Ars was saying before, if I'm not in it for the money, I'm in it because I love the music, because it's therapeutic. And that's the same thing as far as the wellness connection is. I'm getting these reps in, right? Every time I touch down on that beat machine, you getting a rep in. Every time I lay down this verse, I'm getting a rep in. And that's what's going to take you to the next level. And that's that wellness component of like, I need this for my mental health. I need this to live. I need this to push forward. And a lot of people don't have that. Like Ars is talking about, a lot of people give up. And even in the music industry or wellness, like even if you're an athlete, I'm always going to move. Like, and the movement is going to be a soundtrack. It's going to be hip hop. Like, what does that sound like? And that's the art in it. That's the community. That's everything else that comes in line with that, you know? And I think I couldn't go any further without saying, Ars, man, that El Capo album, like, I've always been a Jim fan, but like everything that Hillz said, like, you captured New York City sound. Like, that's not easy to do. And it wasn't even with hip hop music.
I don't even know if we have if there's such a thing anymore. I was kind of trying to define it on that album because I think it got lost somewhere along the lines. You know what I mean? They started calling everything the New York sound after me. I almost felt like it was my duty to try to define a sound on that album. Right.
One of the things that we always need in wellness is that need and feel and motivation and connection to sound. So when we talk about being motivated, feeling like you're in the right place and getting that right sound, What are you listening to? Because I know you get it in. What are you listening to when you hopping on that Peloton bike, getting that little energy up? What tracks are you popping through your head? What are you listening to when you getting it in?
You'd probably laugh at some of the shit that I do listen to. I listen to a lot of my shit, but when I'm not, I listen to shit like
that's gangster.
Fuck that shit,
Give it up,
no,
son.
I'm saying when I'm not though, like, you know, because I listen to a bunch of Jim, a bunch of Fred, a bunch of Cam, shit like that, Ross, shit like that. But then on the flip side, I listen to shit like, I don't know if you're familiar with this DJ named Tiesto. I listen to shit like house shit, like Tiesto, Business, like a bunch of shit, man, like different shit that's high energy for me. You understand? Like, because if I'm on the treadmill doing a half hour, by the time I get 15 minutes in, I feel like I'm going to fucking die. So I need something that's going to keep me going for the other 15 minutes. I put on a lot of high energy shit, man.
You know what I need? I need that from you.
Listen, I see a lot of hip hop people getting into this fitness out here.
Where
brother.
you at?
I see the contracts is coming across. I see people putting up a playlist that don't rock like y'all playlists rock. If I'm lifting some heavy beats,
I need a Peloton. Peloton playlist. Tell them stop playing, man.
Let's
Come
get
on
it.
now.
Let's go.
Give your boy the Peloton playlist.
You know, you talking about you trying to get your abs right. You see how Jim is giving it up out there, too.
Yo, if I ride up a hill that I'm ready, I'm getting it.
What I can guarantee is that if you give me a playlist, it'll give you enough energy to do 45 minutes on the Peloton nonstop.
Let's go.
I guarantee you after I put that playlist together.
Let's go.
I know the right songs.
Salute all the way through that, man. Yeah, hell yeah, we want to see that bang inside there. And you know what? So that's the kind of conversation that, you know, when people are just looking from the outside and don't really love and then embedded into the conversation, they might not understand how that moves crowds, like in the real sense of where that hip hop situation is. You put people in the room. What is a job of a trainer other than to move the crowd? Kind of like, first of all, ain't no mistakes allowed. You see where it was at, Hillz?
Absolutely.
Come on.
Knew that was coming.
Absolutely.
You knew where it was at.
Ours do shit like, you got that record with Jules, Who Am I? Like, that song made me cry. You know what I mean? Like, when he's talking about his mom,
You know,
I could
crazy
relate
thing,
to that.
Sidebar, crazy thing is, one of the first few times meeting Fat Joe, back in like I want to say 2000 and I met him in like 2003, 2004. I think right after I'm Ready came out. He pulled me to the side and was like, yo, this is one of the craziest beats I've ever heard. I listened to this shit. So you know how Fat Joe talk. I listened to this shit literally
a
for
million
7
times
hours straight. But yeah, like a lot of people gave it up for that beat. And I was saying the other day, I might want to redo that record for a project I'm doing with Jewels. I might want to make a Who Am I Part 2, but just make it better.
What you've done with the nucleus of the people that you rock with, because I feel like the synergy that exists, you make people want to give their best. Not even want, it just instantaneously happens. But going to the workout shit, like, again, like that Dipset anthem.
Come on,
you hear
now.
certain shit, like Dipset anthem, some shit that you set your alarm in the morning, like
today's a new day.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's some shit you hear where your eyes are still trying to open up. You pouring the coffee, you know what I'm saying? Like, Cat Williams had that segment with Hustling, right? Where he's like, no matter what's going on, like, you put this shit on, it should change you. That's how Dipset anthem is supposed to feel. Kind of when I heard the We Don't Believe You beat, it was something that was like, if you can't get your head in gear and this doesn't start to bang out a thought, if this does not serve as a motivation, the instrumental alone is supposed to serve as that. You know what I mean?
Man.
So
Since we
talking about
fitness and music, y'all familiar with American Ninja Warrior, right? That
Come
TV
on, brother.
show?
Yeah.
Well, I got like the theme song for it for the next season that's coming up.
Oh, we about to get real lit. Come on now.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Kyle working on his backflip right now.
We about to get the bartenders, all of them up on their joint now. We about to take over. It's going to look real flooded out. I love it, man. Yo, what I hear, again, it just brings back these synergies, these two rivers that are coming together. I know it's going to flood the block for everybody. I'm hearing that people who specialize in moving the crowd, we are movement artists on this side. I need to see something in you that you don't see yourself, and I need to get it out of you in the highest possible level that you could ever get, right? That's what our basis for our professionalism is based off of. Very similar inside that.
To a producer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we take it from here. Here's the clay. I already see the statue that I'm about to make, right? We make art inside of the same things. We just do it in the movement side. You're doing it on the tune side, right? And together, man, I don't see the industry moving without the elements that we bring to the table inside here. And all of this, fellas, it comes together and it brings me in mind to just feel that same pride that you get when you hear any of the tracks that we're talking about, and the same legacy conversation that I know I hear these brothers talking about, and they're going to live. You're not going to forget the name Fred the Godson, because these brothers are keeping everything going forward. I got to be able to come back and really just hone in on and ask. And I want to throw this to Brother Russ over here. Russ, when we're talking about legacy and we're talking about all the things that are coming together and uplifting and inspiring people to take that motivation and not just show up and think that they're just going to be talented and talent alone. No, you got to put this work in, is what I'm hearing everybody say along this path. What legacy would you want to talk through, given everything that's happened in your family lineage, for the people that's listening in, about this work, about where the dedication, the charities, all the rest of that kind of stuff? What kind of stuff do you want to leave people with to understand that this is going to be something that's going to be continual going forward?
I want people to know that Fred had a promise to himself and a mission, and he wanted to bring everybody along with it. And just like how Oz sticking to his craft and sticking to his passion in music, Fred stuck to his craft and his art and his passion with the bars. When he sees an artist that's putting in work and that they have a passion for it and they love for it, it ain't got nothing to do with money, man. It ain't got nothing to do with how many followers you got. It ain't got nothing to do with what type of celebrity status you have. Fred wanted to bring that on and stick to it and bring that on to a point of, nah, this is music. This is what the culture is about. And his legacy as a whole, as far as a person, being a man of his family, being a great father, loving his kids, and bringing beautiful people around as a culture to help each other, not only just help each other, but bring somebody out of a low point at life. He put himself into other people's shoes when he met them to see what he can do to inspire them. And that does not lose in this earth that we have, to keep inspiring, to keep hope, to keep wellness going, to keep a good energy. This is what Fred wanted to bring in as a whole. So when I say legacy, it's something that is not going to end forever. We're going to keep his torch lit. And everyone is appreciated by me and my family that went along with that ride with Fred, you know, because it's real. You know what I'm saying? That mentality and that love for hip hop and that love for people and family and unity, that's what Fred was all about. So it's bigger than music. And that's why I think that he got that street name in front of the building we grew up. That building was a gem place for us. And that's where Fred used to, you know, do freestyles in the hallway. You know what I'm saying? We go to the park, play ball, sports, football, you know what I'm saying? And you hear a lot of that in his music, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Oz could attest to that. You know, so if you looking at Fred the Godson and you see the bars, you see the lyrics, that street name is more than that. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely, my brother. And again, I thank you for sharing with us and just putting that legacy out there for us, because I know somebody that needs to hear it and needs to keep moving forward. They're going to do exactly what they need to do. Now, fellas, this is the Off the Strength podcast, right? So at the end of every show, we like to leave listeners with something that they could do off the strength for themselves to make their lives better, to keep that inspiration going, to keep moving in a certain direction, right? So we do it off the strength, right? So I want to pitch it around to you guys. Everybody take a shot at this one. What's one thing that the listeners out here could do off the strength to make sure that they're keeping up that legacy plan that we're talking about?
The first thing that you can do is know that it's okay to not be okay.
Okay.
I got a phrase, I know what I don't know.
Okay.
And once you understand that it's okay to not be okay, that allows you to transition into believe. You understand what I'm saying? Like you have to be okay with not being all right, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to communicate and talk. And this is the reason why Angels was so prevalent in tying this relationship with all of us that are on this line right now. Really, without AL, I might not talk to Rs. And without talking to Rs, I don't meet Fred. And without that, I don't have Russ. And really, this is a byproduct of that. But it's that record, Angels, pouring my soul out and purging myself to be vulnerable and be like, yo, bro, like, people will be fucked up. There's toxic, Tone, what you said was
toxic positivity. It's out there.
Sometimes, but that doesn't mean that you lean on it. But when you allow yourself, like the space that I was in, you come in contact with the R's, you come in contact with the Fred, you allow that good shit to put you on that path and run with it, and surround yourself with air-like people. You know what I mean? So I have those two things. It's okay to not be okay, but it's okay to believe, and you have to believe, because it's the only way that you're going to get past that first spot.
Trust in self and then believe, my man. I love exactly where you're going. Okay, Russ, what's going on, brother? What's the one thing that you want to leave people with?
Whatever it is that you're doing, or whatever it is that you're comfortable with doing, whatever it is, it's your craft. Never get comfortable in your greatness. Always keep a humble heart.
Stay
you
on
understand?
that.
Always keep a humble heart and remain grateful. And when you speak to someone, you don't never judge them from the stereotypical type of where they dress or how they sound. You know, greet them in a way, and no matter what type of energy that you get, whether it's negative, whether it's not in your way, use that energy as fuel to make them comfortable when they're uncomfortable with their self.
Wow.
You know,
meet them where they are.
I feel it.
Exactly. When you do that, you'll see a broad span of things that will put a fire into you to never give up. You know, always have faith, and don't never lose your faith. You know, never lose your faith, and connect with people that brings that same frequency. And once you have those people, no matter how big they are, they can be one person, it can be two people. Appreciate the number one person just as much as you're going to appreciate the 1,000th person.
I love
in the
that,
same
brother.
form.
Hell yeah, man. Yo, thank you, brother. I really do appreciate where you took us with that one, man. And my man, Rs, last but not least, brother, what's that one thing that everybody could do to make sure that they're getting themselves together off the strength?
Personally, I would just say learn how to use your anger.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because when you're chasing your dreams, we'd be lying to ourselves if we say we're not going to get angry. We're going to get angry, of course, at other things, at ourselves, at whatever. But if you learn how to turn that anger into real motivation, not just be angry and walk around your crib angry or walk around your friends angry, but learn to use that to better yourself. You understand? Like the whole quarantine, I was angry. After Fred passed, I was angry. You know what I mean? But if I would have let that anger just fester as anger itself, I would have imploded. You understand? But I learned how to jump on the bike for a half an hour and do 11 miles because of that anger. I learned how to go to the studio and focus for 12 hours because of that anger. You understand? Like I learned how to knock out 3 or 4 projects in a couple months because of that anger. It's because if I was to let that anger use me, I would be twisted. But I learned how to use that anger and turn it into some other shit to where it's going to benefit me and the people around me. You understand? Because other than that, I'm running around here just trying to beat people up. Like nobody trying to do that. Like I learned how to turn that anger into straight motivation to the point where now it's like, you make me upset. Okay, cool. I'm just going to make some more. I'm going to make some more music, and I'm going to just conquer some more obstacles. And I think people need to learn how to do that. Turn your anger into something positive.
Man.
Other than that, you're going to suffer from something that you don't want. You know what I mean? Like,
hell yeah, it starts to fester on you, man.
Positive.
You can't let that weight sit on you, brother. I see where you going.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
I love this, man.
1,000,000%. Oz is a beautiful human being, man. He's a great mind and a great individual. And like I said, he come across as being antisocial. He's social, but it's like everything he's saying is kind of the same shit that Fred would say. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to keep going. Seeing Fred stressed out, Fred just keep trucking. Fred be like, all right, I'm aggravated. Fuck it. Fred check out for like 30 minutes, come back and be like, yo, play some music. I need to write something. Boom. He out of there. It got to be for a meaning. It got to be from the heart.
It's always for a higher purpose, brother. And that's why we like to unite across these fronts, man. This health, this wellness, everything is coming together, and we are never going to let it stop. And man, fellas, y'all dropped some heavy, heavy hitting gems out here. We got the heat from the heat makers, bro.
Definitely got the heat.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
I love everything that we came through
Nice
with.
hat, Hillz.
Hell yeah, right?
Let me get one of those, yo. I gotta cop one of those.
Yo, we want to rep the squad too. Come on, brother.
Quick, if you get a hat, don't wear the hat in Times Square. You're going to get a whole lot of motherfuckers asking you, nigga, can I submit some music?
We got to get
How can I get down with you?
Not taking it.
Nobody don't really know what I look like. So when they see the hat on somebody, they automatically think that's me. Because they don't really know. Niggas don't know what I look like.
I haven't felt that way since I placed my first record for a producer on Twitter where my email was flooded in one day. I was like, yo, I'm just trying to get 2 blocks. Leave me alone. I'm just trying to get 2 blocks. Just chill.
That's where the CD thugs come out, start handing you CDs in the middle of Times Square.
That's what happens when you get the city on lock, man. Now, we're going to have to plug these last little couple clips, man. I need to know where people could keep y'all information going. How do we find the next videos, everything that's coming down the line? Please plug for me, fellas.
All right, listen, we got right now the single We Don't Believe You, Fred the Godson, Hillz, off of the forthcoming project Clash of the Titans. It's on YouTube right now. It's on Spotify, Tidal. It's on every streaming platform. It's doing pretty well. It's doing good on the video side of things, finishing everything. We got one more record to finish for the project. Outside of that, you can reach me on my Facebook fan page, Hillz Music 407, Twitter, Hillz Music MGMT. IG, you can hit me on for Hillz MUSIC, and that's it. You know what I mean? Outside of that, Google Hillz Music and Fred the Godson.
Come on now.
Google Hillz, and you're gonna get a laundry list of shit because we working. Google Ascension, Google Heat Makers, Google every goddamn thing. Get it moving.
You better believe it.
Google going to cut us a check.
Russ, where they gonna find you at, brother?
Yo, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, RussPG22, on Facebook, God Legacy Russ. You know, y'all go cop that, download that Ascension. Y'all go download that We Don't Believe You with Hillz, man. The joint is fire.
Come on.
Everything, Heat Makers. Y'all go back to Fred's catalog. Y'all
Ali is crazy too, nigga. Ali.
Yeah, that Ali moving.
Ali track is nuts.
3D animation being made for Ali. This joint is gonna be fire.
Can't wait.
You know, we rocking, man. And definitely stay tuned for that Contraband 3. Definitely.
Let's go. Us, let them know where they gonna find that, Us.
I'm simple, man. You can just Instagram official Heat Makers. Like Russ said, I got Contraband 3 coming April 23rd. I got a project coming out next week on St. Patrick's Day with OT The Real called The Irishman. I got a project me and Cam putting together right now. I got another project that's done with me and Currency that we haven't picked a date to put it out yet. But and then Jewels. You know, me and Jewels are kind of like in the infantile stages of our project, but we're gonna put something out hopefully by the summertime. So and I got a track coming out on Ross's new album. So,
man,
I got some things.
That's the oh by the way.
Oh by the way, etc.
Yo, his etc. is so heavy.
When I told you this nigga's an
I like it, man. He be shutting it down. Etc.
You know how the music industry is. The music industry is always like 3 months behind. So like I did the paperwork and all this shit for that like 3 months ago. So I'll be forgetting about it when I talk about it because it's not recent to me, even though it didn't come out yet. But
it's gonna be there.
I got that coming out too.
My man got to work out
like
just so he can carry his etc.
Be other niggas like
it's the whole yo. This my whole life work. He's like, you know, it's just something light. I hit him off with this.
Yo, the first etc. is like legendary. The second
exactly.
etc. I'ma shift the culture.
Exactly.
Etc. is ours.
Well, listen, we gotta throw this last etc. Look, yo, fam, I'm gonna let you know right now. Mixtape for this fitness stuff, it would move different, brother. I'm telling you right now.
We on that conversation.
This is what I'm talking about. Shooters gotta shoot, brother. I gotta make sure that we understand each other on this side.
Listen, we just gotta, as long as, obviously I'm with anything like that, but everything just gotta make sense to me.
We gonna make it make sense. If it don't make dollars, it'll never make sense, brother. This is where we at.
Oz, check this out. Oz, when I got the EPK from these brothers, did I not give it to you? Now, I want to give my nigga his roses real quick too, because Tone, me and you have been talking.
Come on.
And I told you I was gonna shoot this to Oz, right?
Man.
And I was on you. I was like, yo, let me get the EPK.
It was ready.
And right now, when I got it, I know I'm 99.999% sure Oz gonna be like, yeah, let's do the interview. Cool, no problem. But in my brain, I still got to talk for like 2 minutes before he says yeah. So I get your EPK, I call Oz, I'm like, yo.
Why you do that, by the way?
I was like, hey, yo, I got this shit. He was like, brother, when do you need me?
To pull up, and he came off the love, baby.
Off the strength right there.
This nigga wasted the first 5 minutes just asking me.
I didn't get through 5 minutes. Cut me off in like a minute and 30. I was like,
man.
I thought he was going to say yeah. I just wasn't prepared for him to say yeah that fast.
Fam, that's the love,
like,
man.
Let's go. Character is currency.
That's it, man. And we're going to have to leave it on that. We getting the rap. We getting the cut on the mics on this side.
We got our et ceteras.
We got to get up to our et ceteras on this end. So we're going to pitch it off like this. Fellas, thank you so much. It's been another fantastic episode of Off the Strength. I'm a trainer called Tony.
You're a trainer, Corey.
KR Jones.
Peace and much love to y'all out there. Until next time, we'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. Peace.